Hello and welcome back to the deep dive, to the upside down. I am one of your three hosts, Annie, and then we have my two other lovely hosts as well.
Yeah, whichever wall she pointed at in me.
Yeah. Well,
And
always
I'm
fuck it
Mr.
up.
Fuentes. I'm one of the other hosts.
What's up, guys? It's Drew here, the other host.
The other host of three.
Hell yeah.
Today is one of my top three episodes. I can't speak for the other ones, but it's one of my top three episodes of the season, the most anticipated and the most watched episode in Stranger Things 4. We're talking about the episode Dear Billy, where we have
hmm
the whole epic scene, the major revamped of the Running Up That Hill song that surprised everyone on doubling in charts, gave her more followers, and like it just helped out Miss Kate Bush with this episode.
Yep.
It's made it fun. And then we have, you know, oof, I blanked for a minute. Uh we had a lot more stuff go on in that episode that we want to get into a little bit more, but oof, I'm blanking out today, guys. Jesus.
Uh, it,
Yeah,
to
to
me,
me,
it's probably my
oh,
favorite episode. I mean, when I think about this episode, I genuinely think of probably the best episode I've ever watched when it comes to like shows. Because I was from like top to finish. I was especially that with the part we're talking about. I was invested in it. I wasn't like checking my phone. What time is it? Or notifications. No, I was glued to the screen. Um, but yeah, it's also a deeper message in that scene in particular. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about this episode.
yeah, no, definitely. I feel very similar. I'm a real big season finale guy. Like I love season finales of every series that I watch. Like to me, it's like what I judge the whole series on. If even if the build up's great and you get to the season finale and it's not good, like or I feel like they didn't end it right, I get really like pissed off, or I'm like, dude, that was it right there. Like that's gonna make me want to watch it next season. Which so I really like the season finale to this series. It was really good, but this is definitely close second because I think what's even also really important in the series is a good mid-season finale. And this gave all the mid-season finale vibes the entire time. Like it
Absolutely.
was, it left a bunch of open kind of, it left a bunch of like climax, and then it left a bunch of like, well, you're gonna have to keep watching to get more of like what happens
Yeah.
next because there's a lot of shit happening.
And this like whole episode, we got a lot more of a backstory on Max's mind, on how she dealt with her mourning stage to Billy, even
hmm
though like she hated him with the passion or the way that she felt because that was her stepbrother, and the way that they treated each other was kind of different, especially from seeing from season 2 all the way up to season 3, and seeing everything a little bit different and stuff. We got to see at least a little bit more into depth of what happened, how she's dealing with her mourning situation, and then just kind of seeing her grow as a character alone. This was like the best episode to me, just to see character growth in her,
hmm
because we never got a lot to see with her on season 2, and then we got a lot more in season 3 with her and 11, the way that they were building their friendship, and then now we just get to see her by herself with her friends and figure out like how to defeat Vecna and how to keep her safe because she's the next one that's going to cause it all.
Yeah.
It's great.
Also, from this episode, I felt like when I first watched it, I felt like I wasn't watching Stranger Things. I felt like I wasn't watching a TV show. You
Like
know
a
what I'm saying?
movie.
I was watching a whole ass movie because of two particular scenes, obviously the ending and all that, but obviously the part where the agents, where they're helping out, they're taking care of Will and Mike and
Dude,
Jonathan. That scene
that's
I did not expect.
that scene was so cool just because like the first guy gets shot almost immediately, so he's dead.
Yeah.
The other guy, like after I did the rewatch, was so calm the entire time. It was just like, boom, 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 boom. All right, get behind the door. All right,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom.
Now
All right,
run,
I'm
run,
gonna
run.
shoot while you run. Calmly walks across while shooting. I'm like, dude, this guy's a badass. Like, he really is. That's
I've been
crazy.
before.
He's like, I've been through a couple before. I got
Yeah.
this, guys. The other guy,
Yeah.
not so much.
The other
But
guy's fucking dead, but
but
yeah.
like the way that they planned it out, I guess, like not planned it out, but like the way that the boys were like, "Oh, we're hungry. They're probably hungry too, right? They're not going to let us get into contact or leave anywhere to go try to, leave the house or anything." So they're like, "Let's get some fucking pizza, right? Who's going to be the one that comes and takes the pizza to them?" Argyle. So
Yep.
that's their one way to get out. Like they're like, "We're hungry." And they're like, the cops just sitting there like, I guess, what's it gonna hurt to call? And then we get that whole epic fucking scene. Like that's the reason why you don't use your phone to call for pizza. But we get the famous line from Mr. Argyle whenever he picks up the phone. You don't knock it
Yeah.
before you try it on that pineapple on your pizza, and I'm living for it. Like best kind of best line there. And we get this going on the side. Then we have the whole crew trying to fight off Vecna and figure out what's going on with Max at the same time. And it's just crazy. But we get the whole reunion back with Lucas,
Mhm.
with the whole crew. And I feel kind of like not bittersweet, but like it's that nice reunion that we needed. Just because of what the stages we're going to be going through this whole season with this whole episode. So Lucas coming back and Max kind of feeling some type of way about him, and their relationship, they're not a thing anymore. They're not
Yeah.
even friends as much. They're in the same friend group, but not as much as being friends. Um, they go back to Nancy and Mike's house, and I know they talk about not talk about, but she's writing. She's writing letters, which spoiler alert, if you haven't seen all of the season, this stop it right here and like skip over to the next part after we stop talking about this. But we never see those letters again.
I was just gonna point that out.
At all. We don't see those letters. She hands them off, she's writing letters for everyone. Steve, Dustin, Lucas. She wrote some for Mike, Elle, and
Mhm.
Will. And if we see him, if we don't see him, even when they were at the hospital after the whole shabam happened towards the ending of the season, they still never gave Elle, Will, and Mike those letters. Like,
Yeah. I'm
they
curious where they're at.
I'm curious on what's in those letters. I want to know what she told Lucas. I just want to know, like, hey, just because you think I hate you, I don't. I still want to have a movie date with you.
Just
Like,
running up this hill,
just
running
running up
down this
that hill.
road.
The shabam, just running up the hill.
I did want to point out something that someone else pointed out before, and the more you think about it, it's like, well, it would have been awkward if we didn't do this, but there was other adults in her life besides Steve, but Steve was the only one out of like Nancy and Robin that got a letter, and no one else did. So I don't know if it's because Steve was around, so she was just like, I guess I'll write one for him because it'd be
Hey,
awkward
Steve,
if I
That
thank
is
you
so
for letting
true.
me ride your car. Like,
Or-
thank you.
or she actually legitimately, has, like the other kids have, kindled a friendship with Steve,
Mhm.
and actually does kind of see him as maybe
His
even
brother or something.
kind of figure or a role model in a sense to look up
Yeah.
to. Maybe like an older brother that because she doesn't have one anymore. Maybe that's how she sees Steve now. Not that we really see that interaction. To me, I didn't really see nothing like that.
Yeah.
Throughout the series. But he still got a letter, so it was one of those like. I remember someone pointed out, "Oh, it's so cute that she gave Steve a letter. Like it must be because she like respects him and blah blah blah." Because nobody else got one. Nancy didn't get one. Robin didn't get one. But that's my man Steve, man. He just gets all the respect.
He earns the respect from those children. Like literally, like I feel like she probably wrote in that letter like, "Thank you for being that role model or that friend. Now go fuck up Jonathan and go get back with Nancy, man." Like that's it. Like that's all in her letter. Like you need her back, man. Like rekindle that love that you have for her and don't lose it, or some shit like that. I feel like would be what she would probably write, and just tell him thank you for letting her drive the car that one time, and that's it.
It is kind of weird though. Like, I think about Max's relationship with a lot of the other characters, and like besides Elle and like Lucas, she's kind of just like a background character for all the other guys. Like for
Mhm.
Will, you never really see a big one. Mike or Dustin. Dustin at the time that Max is integrated into the group. Dustin's all into his Susie.
Yeah,
Everything about Susie, and then that whole season they're not even really together.
yeah.
Much.
This
So
season, I
you
think
don't
the only interaction they had that's memorable is when like he asked her to be part of
really.
Hellfire Club.
Oh, so I get one of the shirts, right?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, yeah. Wait a minute, you're being sarcastic, and she just goes off of the skateboard, and I'm just like, oh god, that's funny.
Yeah,
That was the best
Uh,
interaction that we got from her.
I'm kind of mad that they got Emmy nominees, but nobody won nothing.
I
You know,
know.
they did a really freaking good job. Like I mean, not, if you don't even give it to the individual characters, like every
That
episode was
scene.
so good. Like, how do you not at least give something to at least the directors or the people that scored it or something? Like everything
Okay,
about these things
so
are crazy good. Like,
so
what was missing?
they got nominated for that scene, and they didn't even win for that scene.
Who
And
won?
I don't even know at this point, but like I was upset. Like
I'm gonna look it up.
you're
Wait,
gonna look it up, but like that fucking scene was worth it. That whole running, the whole score of it, the way that they played off and get the way that they based this whole season just for one song, and they didn't win anything for it. Like I was just disappointed. Like they didn't win
out of like
anything.
every show I've seen, that's probably like the most like I was emotional. I wasn't crying, but I was emotional. I was like, damn, that hit me. But yeah, I don't know how they didn't win. Like
I'm a
I'm not
woman
I'm
and I
not
cried. I always cry over
like
everything.
I'm not saying because I was emotional they should win. No, it's just like what the fuck.
Like what the fuck, bro? But that scene was really worth it. Like honestly, it would have been like that good win for them, especially for that scene because of how much hard work you had to figure out how to get this scene to put together, the rig that they had to come up with in
Oh
order to
yeah.
make that scene happen. I remember sending y'all guys the video of that whole little breakdown of everything. Like it was surprising on how they had to figure out and do it. And
Hmm.
I was disappointed.
there
Un-
was so they got nominated. I mean, they actually got nominated for a lot.
like
Um,
11 nominations for that show.
uh, oh, actually, I'm going into their. They've got nominated before, actually, on their
Mm,
last stuff. In the season 3, they got nominated for a few things, and won actually one of them. But they got nominated for outstanding music supervision for Dear Billy. Pretty much a lot of
Yeah.
things are actually for Dear Billy. Outstanding stunt performance, Dear Billy. Um,
Fuck is
prosthetic
all this
or
shit?
it's a lot of different things, but it doesn't look like they won. They didn't win any of them, but I can't find out who won them.
All
Like
these ads.
awards. There's just apparently nominations. These
Has the
guys.
award show even happened yet?
Did it have? Has it? Oh, you know what? I guess it hasn't happened yet.
we're over here ranting, thinking that
I'm
they
over here
lost.
talking shit, and they haven't even done it yet. It's September. It's September
September
12th.
12th.
Yeah.
Wow,
It's
we're really
okay.
fucking shit.
Okay, I'm all
Fuck those guys.
fuck those guys. They deserve this win, bro. But see, this is what I mean. Like they deserve this win. Like they
Yeah.
deserve the win. At least for the episode for Dear Billy. Majority of those nominations that they did, they should at least deserve those winnings for that episode. Like it is top notch. For
Mhm.
even for a Netflix
I
series
mean,
or like
Exactly.
their outstanding drama series. They got Better Call Saul, Euphoria, Ozark, Severance, Squid Games, Stranger Things, Succession, and Yellow Jackets. Those are the
I'm a
8 nominees.
I'm a big, Breaking Bad, fan.
Mhm.
But that Better Call Saul is kind of like slow and dry sometimes.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, I admit it. And Squid Game was awesome as
Squid Game
well.
is good, but it's not. It's not a. I mean, it is a drama, but it's not as dramatic and as
Yes, exactly.
awesome as
Yeah.
this show, this season was. I mean, Euphoria. I hear a lot of good things. I've never seen it, so I don't
I
know.
love that
Yeah, I've never
fucking
seen
show.
it.
I love that
Um,
show.
Ozark. I've heard a lot of good things too.
Yeah.
Never seen it. Um, and the other two, Succession and Yellow Jackets, I know nothing about those.
Euphoria is a really good show, but if you want to get away from the sex and the drugs and stuff on that show, it's for a lot. It's a lot to handle on that show.
Wait, so no actor was nominated?
No,
Things?
not for Emmy, not
Well,
Emmy
it said
nomination.
outstanding cast for a drama series.
So all of them, basically, the ones that are
Yeah, and pretty much it's all the same thing: Euphoria, Ozark, Severance, Stranger Things, Succession, Yellow Jackets.
interesting.
Hmm.
They didn't do separate like nominations like how they would for like the Oscars for Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress, Best
Yeah,
Supporting Actor, stuff like that.
I think it's different in that sense. It's
Mhm.
like
Because
they
it's like
do
a
it by-
movies.
they do it by shows. They don't do it by person.
Mhm.
So that makes sense.
At least they get the whole credit as like a whole versus it being like, oh, well, the show only won like Best Actor and Best Actress, or like Best Actor and Best Supporting Actress, stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
I guess that was a stunt performance. They got nominated for outstanding stunt performance in Dear Billy. So I guess when she was floating in the sky, I mean, I guess
Yeah.
it's technically a stunt.
That rig that they had to put her on and everything. I'm gonna talk about that rig. Like it's crazy and massive. How
I don't know if outstanding stunt performance is going to do better than Hawkeye, Moon Knight, Squid Games, or Blacklist.
shit. Oh shit, they ain't gonna win that one. Especially for Hawkeye, depending on what scene for Hawkeye, because it was really good stuff in Hawkeye as well.
Yeah,
They're gonna win everything in Stranger Things.
Outstanding music supervision, I think they might get that one.
Yeah, because
But
come
it's-
on, that running up
for-
that hill.
It's for the episode Dear Billy. So, yeah.
I would have laughed if it was for the last one and it was the Metallica scene.
Oh, just
Right.
Fuck
Actually,
no,
there's
it's
a lot
just
of
gonna
nominees
Eddie.
for, besides Dear Billy, there's the Massacre at Hawkins Lab. That's another one for some reason. I won't say
okay.
for some reason, but it's
It's
getting
probably
nominated.
like
Outstanding
I don't know, it's a good
period
question.
character hairstyling.
Oh yeah, because of how they had to do Millie's wig. Like it was I guess the person that installed it has been the person that has done it since season 1 and like literally based it off of like her whole hairline. Like this season she didn't have to shave her head. Like it was just an actual wig the whole time for the shaved head thing or the buzz cut or whatever that she
Mhm.
got. So
Mhm.
it was like pretty outstanding. I guess they went into detail. I think there was another video that I sent out to you guys about that as well in the group chat. But it was like some cool stuff, like a lot of cool stuff that they did, especially on Vecna as well too. Whenever they did all the prosthetics and everything, it's some crazy, crazy, crazy stuff.
They actually oh my god, what's his name who plays Vecna? Fuck.
I don't know,
Anyway,
but I think he's British.
He is
Yeah.
British.
He was on Jimmy Fallon like literally yesterday or 2 days ago.
They made him read cue cards.
Yeah, something Vecna would never say.
Something they did like a whole like a little scene of what things that Vecna wouldn't say, and they had him do the voice for Vecna, and they had him do a song. What was it from? What's her name? Lizzo, About Damn Time or whatever, and he read the lyrics to that, and I was sitting there dying listening to this.
But he was talking about how it takes 8 hours for them to put the makeup on and all that stuff. I'm just like, fuck that. And then it takes an hour to take it off. Like, how?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
8 hours, and
So-
then you have like a little scene of him drinking his coffee
Yes,
like halfway through
Starbucks.
it. Yes. And then he talked about, I know in one of the Netflix like little interviews that they did, he talked about like how everyone first when they first saw him and the prosthetics and the makeup, and I think he scared the shit out of Millie whenever she first saw him, and
Hmm.
I think same thing with the actress that plays Max as well. Like they were like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, that kind of remind me of it. I remember I was watching an interview where they didn't show the clown until like I guess it just seemed the kids are all together, and the kids were like terrified. Including Finn was there. Mike was there, so yeah, he
Yeah.
was terrified about it.
There,
That's pretty funny.
so there's a scene that happens in this episode that I was like, man, they could have pulled off another Freddy Cougar nod in this episode, and they didn't. Because I was waiting for it. Because I was like, did they do it? And they didn't. He didn't do it. But whenever, well, we're gonna probably get back into this later. But whenever Max is running away, and then Vecna, you see a picture of him, and then he has his hands, and I guess he closes his fists, and things start, falling from the sky. In the Freddy Cougar movies, like he would often move his fingers
Oh, his little
In order to
to get things to like move and do things, and then she could have easily just been like, did the little kind of nod because his claws are kind of long, like Freddy's claws, and they didn't do that. But I was just like, man, if they would have done that, it would have been such a cool ass nod to Freddy Cougar.
Speaking of Freddy Cougar, they actually got the actor that played Freddy Cougar, Robert Englund, in this episode, just this one episode, and I think this was the perfect episode to do it for, especially to have him be on there because of how they talk about like the whole nightmares, how this person is able to go into your head or into your dreams or whatever they had said and just kind of like control you. And it was like a little nod to the whole Nightmare on Elm Street and like the whole Freddy Cougar aspect of it, even including that whole character in there. And the way that Robert Englund as an actor just playing Victor Creel, and I got excited when I saw him there.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say the more you think about it, like even the voice of Vecna kind of has a Freddy Cougar kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
All of it kind of. I wonder if they actually wanted Robert Englund to do the to be Vecna, and then he was just like, I'm too old for that shit, bro.
He's like 8 hours in prosthetics. Nah, give it to me.
But you know what I could do? I could give you a little. I can give you a little nod.
That's what did it right there.
Gave him the blessing. He was
8
hours of makeup. Yeah, that would suck.
He was like,
that's
no,
what did it right there.
not.
That reminds me of I mean, yes, Vecna does look like the Grinch, but it reminds me of when Jim Carrey's interview of Jim Carrey and of him talking about how he was with the Grinch and how it took him, I think, 9 hours to do the makeup and all that shit, and he wanted to like quit. He wanted to talk to Ron Howard. He's like, I'm done. Like, this is dumb. This is stupid. And then Ron Howard's like, all right, we'll pay you more than. All right, I'll do it. Like, so.
Probably what happened. They didn't have the funds. They're like, yeah, no, never mind. Just one episode.
They made a documentary about that, didn't they?
Yeah.
About like how like he even kind of says in there like that wasn't the best side of me. Like apparently he was acting like a real jackass the entire freaking time they're recording that thing, and he was just like, yeah, it wasn't the best side of me. I was really going through some shit at that time, and he was just like literally just fucking with people and really like basically making people's lives miserable on set on purpose.
But yeah, that was like his best performance.
Yeah.
Which I mean, it was almost like, the more I think about it, I'm like, well, it's probably more of the method acting, because Grinch was an asshole, so he needed to be in that mindset of being an asshole.
He needed to be in that character.
Yeah.
But
anyway, I was like, I think we're getting off topic.
No, it's okay. We'll talk about the Grinch in the next episode. No, I'm joking. But with Robert Englund being in there, I didn't know it was him until after the episode was over, and it showed like how they do all the the ending credits. I saw his name and I was like, that name's familiar. I know that name. So I went to search it, and I called Franco while he was at work, and I was like, dude, I didn't know he was in this episode, like at all. Like it didn't seem like it. The voice clicked a little bit, but I was like, that's not him. Like it can't be him. Like how are they gonna get Freddy Cougar on here like at all.
The only reason I knew it was him because I mean, I read the news before the season even started that he was going to be on it.
See, I didn't
So I
even
was,
read that.
I was like, oh, so that has to be him then. I don't like him, but it has to be him. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. But
I didn't catch it until after the
yeah,
episode, and then I was like, nah, it's not him. And I had to rewatch like back a little bit on the episode, and I was like, holy shit, it is him. Like I was
yeah,
all stupid ecstatic. I was like, shit,
It's the legend
it's him. It's
the
the
legend
man, the
of the
myth, the
rocker.
legend. But I liked how they used him as like a way to see a little
like
bit
a lead way
more.
or something.
Yeah, a lead way into the story of what we now know is Vecna's like backstory on why he did what he did. But
Mm.
like we got a little bit more into detail on how we could save Max. And then the girls on this one actually had me laughing. Nancy and
Robin.
Robin, like they had me laughing this whole time because they have this whole diabolical plan that they're gonna go up there, they're gonna use like a whole college, like they're gonna interview him for
They're
some
from Notre
college
Dame.
product. Yeah, they're from Notre Dame, and it was just hilarious. They got the professor's name wrong once. Thanks, Robin, for messing that up. Kind of got the head person from the mental hospital like a little sus about them, but
I
her
also
whole
found the little things
story.
funny about how Robin or Nancy was trying to get Robin to wear her clothes, like because Robin's like nowhere, like does not wear that type of stuff. So it was
She's
little
like,
things was pretty
oh,
funny. So
she's like, this bra is bothering me. These shoes hurt. You know, it took me a long while to walk. You know, I was the
the
last one
high
of the
heels.
babies that are crawling still, and I'm over here
Yeah,
dying laughing. Like, I have two left feet. I can't even run. Like, I'm clumsy. But
Yeah, I think that was a really cool like scene too because I think you know Nancy's been really reluctant to like Robin, but obviously it's like was starting to kind of warm up to her. But after like her speech that she gave and thinking on her feet, I guess at that point she finally proved to Robin that she's a smart individual, she's not just a dumb girl. Because I think that's what a lot of people like would think about Robin if you first meet Robin, that she's kind of ditzy and dumb. Like
Mhm.
she doesn't seem like she's all there. She just kind of talks a lot and just does dumb shit. And then you like realize, wow. Go ahead.
No, like, that was
Oh,
me. I'm just kidding.
oh.
Go ahead.
But then you realize, she's actually an intelligent girl, and she's just like, she's not, she just talks a lot, like she said before. But she's actually a really smart person, and
yeah,
finally proves it to Robin. And even after all that, they get done. Their relationship seems to finally be solidified. Like they are now friends.
Mhm.
yeah, and it's pretty crazy, honestly. Like, it's pretty funny to see both of their characters in the way that they are, how they how Nancy's very uptight. She likes everything a certain way. And then during that whole scene with her, Robin and that person from admissions or from the mental health hospital, like Nancy's losing him and just Robin right on her feet. She talks about the whole camp. They're at a summer camp for band and like, she wasn't gonna let that one kid, you know, that was scared, whatever it was just like hilarious how she brought that whole story right on her feet, and she's like, you remember him, right? And she's like, what? Yeah, 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 sure,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah,
But
definitely.
like, she was like looking at her like, damn, like how'd you think of all of this in the midst of like your panic? And I guess that's how she is when she talks a lot. It's her anxiousness, like she just has to constantly keep on talking, and that's just her being her. But it was just hilarious just to see her think on top of her feet and was like, I need this interview. I need to talk to him. And there should be more women like us that are in the same spot as you. And you're just telling us and denying us. And I'm like, oh shit. She's bringing that whole womanhood thing.
Hitting them with the womanhood.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I really enjoyed that scene. It was definitely a very, I don't want to say different side of Robin, but we haven't really seen that side of Robin too much yet. Like we know that she always kind of talks the talk, like especially when she's around Steve. Like she wants to be Steve's like equal slash like friend. Like he's like, whatever you can do, I can do better type of deal. Like that's kind of the relationship they have. But she's never
Yeah.
really proved it, in a sense. And this was kind of her first one where she actually like, oh shit, like I said something and did something.
She's like, now I'm
Also,
finally the talk and the walk now.
also in this episode, uh, obviously, God, what's their names? Murray and Joyce. They're about to exchange the money to
To
Yuri,
Yuri.
so
Yuri
just like
friendship
him.
fry. Yuri?
That
Oh,
was also a crazy scene. That another scene. Actually the third one. Yeah, I did not expect that part honestly for Yuri to uh, basically just take the money and just be a dick about it. Did not expect that. I don't know why, but I did not expect it.
I had a feeling like that was gonna happen. I'm like, dude, we don't know who this guy. All the way in fucking Alaska. Like,
Mhm.
what's gonna happen? Like the worst case scenario in my head was like they're gonna get fucking kidnapped. They're gonna get sold to
Yeah,
the Russians. Like I was nervous, very, very nervous on it. And when it happened, I was just like, holy shit. You're pulling out the vinyl.
you
I
pull
can't with
that.
you.
Now you
But
changed the Stranger Things vinyl.
but that scene was really good, and then the whole Hopper escaping the prison as well too happened in that episode, and like the whole
I
intense,
was honestly so mad, like after all that shit happened. I
like
was
That
like,
is
he is
true.
oh,
Yeah.
like Hopper fucking escapes. He goes, gets a jar of peanut butter,
Peanut
gonna
butter.
enjoy it, and then all of a sudden, all the Russian cops or whatever prison guards are there, take him, and he's enjoying that one fucking spoonful of fucking peanut butter. And Yuri had to ruin it because what? He was greedy and he knew that they were all wanted by the Russians.
Mhm.
And he wanted more money.
so I don't know if like it's because so much time had passed since I saw this episode and the last two episodes. But it got around the end, with Yuri and all that, and I was like, Yuri's not that bad of a guy.
Oh
they could
god.
cut him some slack here and there. But then you go watch this episode, and you're like, no, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
They should have buried him. It
I
would have
guess
been
because the
so
way
good.
Joyce was so sold on it, like we're gonna get him, we're gonna get Hopper, like we're gonna exchange of money. That's it. That's why I was like, okay, I'm with Joyce. All right, I'm confident. That's why I didn't, when it happened, I was like, oh, are you fucking serious? Like,
You're like, God damn it, I knew this was gonna happen, but I didn't want it to happen.
yeah, shit,
Yep,
what
and
happened to me? But
what's
But
funny to me is like it almost sounds like it all was planned from the beginning, like by Yuri. Like he talks about, he talks to the guard. He's like, well, you know what I decided, because he had to wait till the people got there with the money, right? Because then he knows for sure, there's going to be money coming.
yeah,
He knew that these people were, I don't know why he knew or how he knew, unless this guy was giving way more information than he should have been giving to this guy. But he also knew these two guys, one of them, or maybe both of them, were wanted by the KGB as well. I don't know why he knew that, but he knew that for some reason. Um, he knew that, telling them where the escape guy would be, which I'm pretty sure he had told Enzo where to tell Hopper where to go.
mhm.
yeah.
So he knew where he was going to be at. And then he also knew the corrupt guard as well. And he's like, you know what pays more? You know what pays more? Telling you where an escaped convict is. You know what pays more than an escaped convict? Telling you where a corrupt guard is. You know what pays more than a corrupt guard? Having two wanted people from KGB. So it was almost like as soon as Enzo came to him with the idea, hey, I need to smuggle this guy out. Oh, more money for Yuri. I'll let it all plan out until we get to about here, and then I'll make more money. So yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I'll be your guy. And
What a
yeah.
dick.
He had to know that plan. Like he had it already like planned out, laid out. He knew I think he knew that Joyce was probably going to take the bait, especially with her the way that she is about Hopper. And
Mhm.
like Murray was the only reasonable and reliable for like, I don't know about this,
This is
Joyce.
sus, Joyce.
Like he was like, I don't know about this. Like, but then whenever they listened back to on that tape or whatever that they did, the recording, and they knew that, Hopper was talking to another guard or whatever, and like that's when Maria was like, okay, maybe it is trustworthy then. Now, if that scene never happened where the lady was just calling him like a pig or whatever, and they found out like, oh, that guy was a guard, I felt like this plan would have never happened at all, and Hopper would
Mhm.
still be in Russia. But you know, we got that, and now all of them are on their way to fucking Russia because
They're
of
on their
Yuri
way.
wanting more money for Yuri.
I do find I find another thing I find like almost I don't want to say genius, but I guess genius is probably the best word to
It's
explain
genius.
genius with the series in itself and how the moods and everything are done are that it's such a serious thing going on right now, and they add comedic reliefs in there like Yuri, who's obviously a two-timing person, but you can't help but laugh at him because he's just a silly guy.
He
you
talks
know
about the fucking peanut butter, like how much peanut butter is worth over there in Russia than what it is here. Like he does the whole breakdown on how much it is and how much
and,
more expensive it is.
Yeah.
and it's you watch a lot of shows that try to put comedic reliefs and it just seems so out of place to have like the comedic relief because everyone around is just too serious, and then you get the comedic relief in and you're just like, this guy is just like seems like a fucking sore thumb sticking out. And in these like situations, you don't really seem that way. And another scene in this episode was whenever like Max is like, "I feel y'all staring into the back of my head," and
Oh
everyone's
yeah.
like, "Oh, we're not staring." Everyone just kind of look, and then she comes and walks up, and everyone's still just like, he's like, "You can look at me now." Okay, good. Like but it's funny, but it's not. It doesn't really seem out of place either. It doesn't seem like something that they were just forcing to make funny. It was so naturally done that it just seemed like, yeah, it's just how the show is. Like they're they're also still kids. I think they also did a good job of conveying in the show that they are kids and they are kind of a little goofy and they are kind of a little silly, and even in the most serious moments, they're still fucking kids. Like they're still gonna be like, oh, I have to give her space. You can look at me now. Okay, thank God. I didn't know how much longer I could look this way. Like, I don't know. They're I think they got better. They've gotten better throughout the series with putting more comic placements into the show, but also getting better at also not making it feel out of place. So they got better at being able to do it and not make it. And that's once they figured out the formula, they started doing it a little bit more, which is good
Mhm.
because it makes the show funnier. Like as soon as they put Robin in, they already knew that Robin and Steve in season 3 had to be like the ones that bounced off each other for comedic relief reasons, and that's what they did. They did a really good job at that the entire season.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel that out for Murray as well.
Yeah, Murray too. Yeah.
Argyle as well too. Like the
Yeah.
introduction of him was just kind of funny. The whole little scene, "Don't knock it before you try it." He does the whole speech about the whole pineapple on
Yep.
pizza, and
Yeah.
then with the whole we'll get into this episode later, but the whole episode for Piggyback, literally when he was like,
Yeah.
seems about right. Like the random just comedic stuff, honestly, was really good to have that what is it? Breath of fresh air in there because it helped a lot. A lot.
You know what I think it is though, is that in other TV shows, people act like the comedic reliefs are not like really the way they're acting. They kind of just accept that that's kind of how they are. But everyone in this series is like, dude, you're being so fucking extra right now. Like you can see the annoyance on their face, especially with like when Argyle starts talking, you could tell they're like, this fucking pothead just talking about random shit again. Like you can see the
oh my
frustration.
god. Yeah.
But like whenever he finally comes with the solution or whatever, they're like, oh, like, okay, I see what's going on. And same thing with whenever you meet Enzo, like Joyce and Murray are just like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? And they're just, their reaction is so genuine because that's how you would act if you met someone who was like that. Because you would be like, wow, I just met this guy and he's really, really freaking me out because he's acting really erratic right now. I think that's also like plays really good with the characters and stuff like that. They don't act like the comedic reliefs are just, oh, that's just how they are. So I just ignore. I don't even really react to how they are. It's kind of like watching that '70s show and Kelso doing something stupid, but everyone just keeps eating their spaghettis and they're just like, Kelso's a fucking moron. So yeah, he's gonna be just doing something stupid all the time.
Yeah.
They don't act
I
like
love
that.
that show. Love that show.
It's a good show. It's one of my favorite shows. Um, but let's see what else happens. The whole Victor Creel, we already talked about that. The escape, we haven't really got too much into it, but that was a pretty epic, idea and escape and everything with Hopper. I thought it was really cool to kind of see him like, it
It
was
was
really
going smooth.
it was really funny to me. It was like throughout the series, like Hopper's been the kind of guy that, I think anytime he's gotten in any kind of actual fights or anything, it's always like when he has a fight with a Russian that it's the hardest.
Yeah.
He was like,
fucking Russians, man.
It's
He
those
was-
Russians.
he was trying to kick ass, and fucking they were fighting back, and he was just like, man, like the old Hopper, or I wouldn't say old Hopper, but the previous times Hopper threw a couple of punches and the people were down, and he's just knocking and knocking. He had to like kill that guy, like literally kill him to stop him from attacking. Like he couldn't knock him out. He couldn't do anything.
It was funny to
Different
see
breed.
that whole scene because, like, he was like, "Man, this is smooth sailing." He hears the guard behind him. He's like, "Ah, shit!"
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like he's like, "I fucked up one," and then when they're fighting, he's like, has that mindset already. Okay, I fucked up two, and then whenever he finally gets onto the snowmobile, and then the whole like fucking cabin blows up, and
Yep.
like his head, he's like, "Okay, I fucked up three right there," like.
At least.
And then whenever he gets his spoonful of fucking peanut butter, and then the Russians, he's like, I really fucked up four. Like, he knew, like, shit, this was gonna be a fight, and he didn't think, like, they were gonna follow him, anything like that. All the fucking prisoners are all screaming, like, yeah, he did it! Like, he made it.
Then Enzo like saying like he crazy American. He's just watching everything happen.
Yeah. Just in the background, you fucking American. Like,
I would have caught that, honestly. I'm not even gonna lie, because I can be, I don't know, because if I was a Russian guard and I just see one Russian in the background just watching the entire time and not trying to pursue Hopper, I'll be like, yo, this guy is just watching back here. We should just keep an eye on him. So,
I thought y'all had it, comrades.
yeah.
he's like, you're good. You're good. I'm gonna stay over here and watch the others, make sure they don't
Like,
run.
what am I just supposed to leave the other guys to just
Right? I
Not-
was like, he
not
had a
go
reason.
to go chase one guy? Like, nah. You gotta think outside the box, guys.
He had a reason, guys. He had a reason to stay behind.
Yeah, he was taking a smoke break. That was the reason. It was his break.
That was his break. He's like, oh, so this is what I came back to? Shit. I should have went a little bit earlier for my smoke break then. I missed all of this. But his the whole thing with Enzo and with Hopper, he said it was 1 to 100, right? Chances that he was going to be able to get through this, and
Yeah.
he's like, "That son of a bitch did it." The 1 through 100, and he uses that again when they go into another episode later on. He uses the same odds, and it's just kind of funny that 1 to 100 thing.
Oh, I know what
Always-
you're talking about. Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
It sticks. And he's a damn American. Like, you know what you're doing the whole entire time.
He's just
but
a risk taker.
yeah, like we know Hopper as being a risk taker. Like he was the first one, I would say second one that went down that hole in season 2 to the whole upside down. After I think it was Dustin, Steve went down there to go take a look.
Oh yeah.
And then he was the first one to help out 11 whenever she first escaped in season 1. And then
we watch them all.
yeah, he was the first one to say, "All right, fuck it, let's go get after those Russians." In season 3 with Joyce and Murray by his side. So I mean, he's a badass in general when it comes to stuff like that, I think. But it was the kid's ideas, and he's like, "Ah, fuck it, I'll just go along with it." every single time.
How did they get Alexi again?
How did they get Alexi whenever they were in the house? I think they were in a house or something, and they were underneath the floorboards.
That's the one where they fight the other Russian, right?
Yeah, that big old
Okay.
Oh, the
beefy.
Terminator looking like dude.
Yeah, that beefy fucking Russian.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. I was trying to remember when too. Yeah.
But yeah, that's how they got a hold of Alexi, and that's how,
That was sad.
yeah.
what
R.I.P.
did y'all, what
Alexi.
did y'all, what did y'all think of that backstory of Victor Krill's family and what you know now, compared to like what you were seeing then?
I thought it was a really good backstory, but I thought like it was some kid that was just troubled. Like I thought the kid died. Like
Yeah.
God, honestly, I thought the kid died, and I thought that Victor Creel was just in the wrong, like wrong place, wrong time, kind of type
Mhm.
thing. Like there's some kind of entity that's after him, and I was like, it has nothing to deal with what's going on with them. That's why I was like, damn, it's some other spirit or some other worldly thing going after this guy that had no issue or no problem with, and then all of a sudden it just wants to do everything to him. And the way that they put a description on how he wanted to be apart, like he wanted to be back with his daughter and his wife, how he had to take razor blades in order
Oh.
to his eyes in order to get to, where he felt like was going to be with them, but it didn't happen and the guards stopped them and enough time in order to do that. But like that little nod was kind of crazy. But now I know who really that kid is, and I'm pissed. I was mad after that. I was like, son of a bitch. Like, you had me fooled the whole time. But what about you, Drew?
No. It was a lot. It was a lot to, I guess, embrace. Um, but yeah, I love the story of the Victor, the Victor character. Um, but yeah, and then what else happens? I'm trying to look at my notes right here. Same symptoms. But yeah, I'm going brain dead right now. What else? What else are we discussing? So we already discussed the gunfight.
I was
Yeah.
like, I think we
Oh,
discussed pretty much everything except for the ending of the episode.
The ending. Okay, so can we talk about how this song, Overnight, was a fucking success. This running up this hill, it was a TikTok trend. It was number one on the UK Billboard's top 10. She gained so much success out of this one song. It was just ridiculous. It was just not ridiculous, but like crazy. Overnight, within the 24 hours, this whole thing happened. Everyone's singing, running up that hill. Everyone has it somewhere on their playlist.
mhm.
Like it was just mind-boggling and baffling that she gained so much success. Like out of the what 80s, this song released,
19,
1983.
1985.
Yeah,
Yeah.
1985. And like all of a sudden now she has a new generation of fans that are listening to this. And
It got, I don't know if it is still, but it got number one song on the Billboard's Global 200. So it was the number one song literally in the world on the
That's
Billboard.
insane. Holy shit.
that's overnight a success. And she got like 1.5 like million streams or something like that, like on like streaming platforms. And like it was just crazy. So crazy. And they
It's,
weren't even sure that they were gonna get the approval for this song, like at all. Like when the Duffin
Oh, really?
brothers, yeah, when the Duffin brothers came up like for this season, they went
Uh,
to go pitch this idea to her about like this whole song. This one song was going to be the basis of the whole season. Like the whole season, they were gonna use this, and they didn't even have a backup plan. They were just like straight, if we don't get it, then we're fucked.
fuck it, we're going
So
on a journey.
yeah, like fuck it, we're gonna have to go to separate worlds now. God damn it, yeah, like we're gonna have to fucking go with that. But like, she was in on it, like literally, it was kind of skeptical, like if it was going to happen or not, but like it went, and she's now like happy and with the success that the not only did she get, but Stranger Things got off of this,
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
is crazy.
it is super crazy. Apparently, like she's. I'm pretty sure they paid her like money or like royalties wise to use rights to the song. But besides
Yeah.
just that, like she's just made so much money already, like from Spotify, like literally millions of dollars from just people streaming and also buying her tracks on iTunes and stuff like that. Like she just has made so much extra money and income, and also getting all this like love from new fans. Like, I love your song, you know. Um, it's just crazy how like something that literally from 1985, what is that?
That,
Like almost 30 years ago, or maybe it's more than 30, maybe almost
that's like the
40.
golden year of like film and like shit, 85 when you think about it too, and music in general. I don't
I
know.
think
80s is just like my favorite.
I think it also makes this show cool too, is that it's like based in the 80s, but it also has like it has new film look, but it also still has that grit of like 80s too at the same
Yep.
time,
Yeah. To the
which is really
clothes, to the song, to like
Hmm.
the way that the appearances and everything. How the fuck did they got a Winnebago like from that time to run still? Like it's crazy. Like crazy, crazy stuff to
that's
see.
little shit I think about too. Like I was like, I wonder how they get the original looking Mrs. Butterworth syrup bottle. Like, do they make it themselves or do they contract? Mrs. Butterworth. Do they look for collectors? Like, I know there's a guy out there with 20 old 1980s
He's
Mr.
like,
Mrs.
yeah,
Butterworth,
it's my
syrups
time.
on the shelf. Like,
Oh
um,
shit.
He's all, this is one that I collected back in the 80s. This is one that I collected in the 90s. And this is the one that you just see on Stranger Things 4, episode 2. Like,
it's crazy.
it's
Um,
fucking crazy. Like, they had everything down, like, especially when it comes down to, like, the bright, the little, is it the light bright thing? Like the old
mhm.
school thing. They have old school flashlight. Like, it's just stuff
Oh,
that,
okay, yeah. The little things. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, the little detail that they put into stuff, to the
yeah.
aesthetic,
Hmm.
to the clothes, to the cassette player on the hip that Max is using. It's just like little details that I like, that make it so much more better that we know that it's in the 80s. It's
Yeah, no,
crazy.
it's definitely they did they we already. I mean, obviously, we're making a whole podcast about how because this show's so freaking awesome. But they've done such a great job with this show. It's it's really hard to deny that like this is something that's gonna be like a timeless classic by the time it's done. Like, there's only
Yeah.
gonna be 5 seasons of it, but I mean, they gave us basically Harry Potter in this last season. Every
Yeah.
episode of the movie. So basically,
Yeah.
we went through the whole Harry Potter series.
But
Um,
that's funny how you mentioned the little details. 'Cause it's true. I've never realized it until obviously you watch behind the scenes and you watch like, uh, or like when I had the opportunity to be an extra, I was a border patrol agent, and they put a bulletproof vest on. I'm like, oh, okay, it's just bulletproof vest, but no, they put like little phone in there. They put a fucking like magazine clip. They put every stupid little detail to make it look
Matters.
like, you know what I mean. So it's pretty wild to when you realize that. So it's pretty crazy.
It is like it matters when it comes to little details, because if you miss one thing, that's gonna be what's talked about on the internet the whole time. Like, hey, did you see that they messed up on this? Like, it's the little details that freaking matter, like all the time. Like, you have to
That's
make sure
me.
that it's there. I'm very particular about stuff, and like if there was something that was missing or even the slightest line that was off, I'm like, bro, like this could have done, we could have done it better. This is how they could have done it better, and everything. But that this episode was the most watched. This is the most streamed, and like it was just pretty much almost everyone's top episode besides the ending. To me, the ending and this one is one of my top
Hmm.
two, top three actually, because of episode 7, 8, and 9 put together, and then this one. But the way that they had everything set up, the way that they used the song and the story arc to give us that next level to what honestly series should be like.
Yeah.
like how they build up everything as it being like a mid-season finale for us, and it just gave us that next tier or next level to what the standard should be, especially episodes being an hour and something long. And then give us this whole ending like she's running, Vecna's throwing rocks at her, and she's almost falling trying to reach her friends, and it was just
There
craziness
is a
to
lot
see
of
everything.
like when I watched that scene for the first time, yes, I was thinking about Max and all that stuff, but it was a deeper meaning to I guess to why so many people loved the episode because the whole flashbacks where she was about to get fucked up by Vecna, where Lucas was like, we're right here, tell us how you feel about us,
I'm
but
right here.
I don't
Yeah.
want to fucking let her. And that literally reminded me of what a lot of people are going through, a lot with mental health and all that stuff. So like, the people are afraid to express their feelings to face. They rather just brush it off and just ignore whatever. So that's why it was very, very real. The episode to where she's running away from her problems or she's trying to run towards to help. So that's why it was very emotional. It was a very intense scene for me. So yeah.
I feel you because I cried on that scene because like I've been in those depression states where I'm just like I don't want to talk to people. I write down my feelings and that's how I felt.
Yeah, yeah.
TMI, if you are trigger warned, I will talk about this, but we'll put it in the description or whatever. I've done it to the point where like I've almost literally offed myself, but like I've wrote a letter and I couldn't go through with it because I sat down and read over that letter and I was like shit, like I should really reach out for help. I did. I'm
Hmm.
still here and alive and made it through that
Yeah.
whole depression state. But yeah, yay me. Um I get it because that letter, I wouldn't want someone to read that letter. I would
Hmm.
want to talk about it. Now I want to talk about my feelings all the time. And that scene hit because you could see someone fighting their inner demon, running away from that situation, like, yeah, just kill me, you know?
Hmm.
And then finally reaching out for that help, and you get that success, that relief from someone telling you, like, we're here, we're there, I'm right here in front of you. I don't want to read it. I want to be able to hear out and hear what you say. I'm
Hmm.
gonna cry, but
No.
but it's so nice to get that relief. And then when she finally comes back to it after that whole escape, like that whole intense scene with that song just kind of helps because you see the whole build, you see all the flashbacks with her friends, with the time that she dressed up as Michael Myers and the rest of the crew is the Ghostbusters. You have the scene with her and Eleven trying on clothes so Eleven can find herself and be who she wants to be. And we get
Hmm.
those whole little scenes, and then we get her finally back in the arms with Dustin, Lucas, and Steve, and Lucas is like, I thought I lost you. Like, it's that whole
Hmm.
intense little scene. And that
Yeah.
was really nice and sweet to finally actually see, that
When
success.
when it faded to black, I thought they ended the episode for a second.
Yeah.
I
I
was
thought so
super
too.
pissed.
I was like, are they really ending the episode? I have really got
I
to
was
go to
like,
bed.
what the fuck? I
But
was
then
kind
it
of
was like
pissed.
that come through, and then I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah,
oh
yeah.
shit, like thank God. Like we weren't gonna get to see it until the next episode. How dare you, Duffin Brothers? But
For a second, it
no.
reminded me of The Walking Dead. The last episode
Oh
when Negan
God.
hit somebody with a bat and it just went to fade to black, and then I had to wait for another 9 months for that episode to come out.
Psych,
Fuck
you're gonna
you.
wait.
you know.
No, the
So
Duffin brothers like, nah, we're gonna fake you out and then get everyone just surrounded by her, like, oh my God, you're okay, and then like,
Could you imagine that scene like in the movie theater if they did that?
oh my
Like, could you
god.
imagine all the gas that would have happened? Like, cut.
the
Oh,
throwing
what the fuck!
the
And then all of a
throwing
sudden,
of popcorn. Everyone else is like pissed the fuck off. Like, God
Pinche
damn
Mexicans. Oh my fucking money back.
it! Everyone started getting up from their seats. This is some bullshit. Like, I paid $11 in popcorn,
Oh my
40
god.
something dollars all together with my drink, and you're gonna do this to me? Like,
I would actually love to see that.
yeah. Duffin Brothers, let us know next season if you're gonna put it in theaters. Would be a smart idea for your season, like your last episode and your mid-season.
Like you could still put it on Netflix,
We'll hook it
bro.
up.
But you know, we talk about this in on my other podcast, Friday the 14th, about like, you know, there's a real difference between like watching a movie at home and watching it in the theaters. Like you get like the full sound. It's
Yes.
5.1 surround sound.
Yeah.
Every heartbeat that they go, you feel.
Yep.
You feel
You
in the
feel
theater.
it, yes.
It just everything's bigger, so you see every kind of little detail, but bigger.
That's funny because I'm a huge Halloween fanatic, like franchise, and it came out on Peacock like the day like the night before it came out in the movie theaters, and my friends are like, "You gonna watch it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna buy a ticket and go to Palladium and watch it." Like, "Oh no, it's on Peacock." I'm like, "I don't give a fuck. I want to watch it in the movie theater." Like, like I don't care.
Like, it's
It's
not
just a
the
better
same.
experience.
Yeah, it's not the same when it's at home. Like those kind of movies, it's not the same at home and then what it is in the theaters. Because like the same thing with the Devil Made Us Do It, The Conjuring. Like
Mhm.
we watched it in theaters, and then I think the next couple of nights or so, like we watched it at home. It wasn't the same feeling. Like
Yeah.
you felt every kind of motion, or you felt some kind of scare was gonna happen. You felt that, and I want to test this theory, so I might as well like go rent out a theater for like $100 or so, and like try it on this episode and try it on the last episode,
You would
and
just be
see.
like,
I'll be like, Netflix, you need to.
so
you need
much
to
I missed.
Yeah, like small little detail on the fucking little
dude.
syrup bottle I missed.
I
and
mean,
I
like,
could have seen it.
I'm really interested. A lot of because I've been reviewing and watching so many movies for and TV shows and stuff for this podcasts. I've honestly been wanting to invest into a surround sound system with some bass and everything in between, because I already have like a 65-inch TV. Like it's a pretty big TV in my living room.
Okay,
Only
so we're
thing
going
that's
to
missing
Fuentes' house then.
is the surround sound, part of it, and that's what you're missing. And honestly, like I would like what Tip said, like fuck it, we'll just all go in $50. We'll go in and just start watching Stranger Things episodes. Oh man, we'd only be able to get like 3 episodes in, maybe 4.
Maybe. Cutting it close. We do a fucking live on one
We'd
of
have
the
to
episodes.
we'd have to watch like pretty much like what you said, number 4 and the last one, because that's already 4 hours right there.
Yeah. That's it. That's all we're getting. Those are the 2 main episodes we need it for.
All
those.
right.
And then for season 5, we're just going to have to fucking dish out my whole paycheck just so we can see the whole season.
We're gonna watch every episode in theaters and then do a review on it.
Yeah. Live stream the whole fucking thing. But no, this episode was really good compared to, the previous episodes. I think it was, like I said, it was in my top 3 for episodes of the season. This was the top rated episode for the season. Like everyone watched this episode. Everyone skipped through the first 3 just to see Dear Billy, just to see what we got. And I would say I forgot to mention is the little scene that they did for her when she's talking to Billy, like, "Hey Billy," like she's reading off that little letter to him, just had me in tears. Kind of like that brotherly love that she wished she would have had with him. That she wished that there was more time.
It is weird because I was thinking about that scene, and then I was thinking about the literally opposite of that scene at the last episode where she talks about what she thinks her real feelings are, and it's so funny to me, like when you really think about stuff like that, because a lot of things that I'm learning as a human is that like we think we know our emotions, but we really don't. Like we really don't know really much about how we react to things sometimes, and it's just like maybe it's both. Maybe part of her did want him to die, but maybe a part of him also wanted there to be a better side to the whole story. Something where they could have got along. But then there was also a part of her that was like, you're a miserable piece of crap and you deserve to die. Like I said.
Yeah, like I said before.
The previous episode that's gonna air whenever. But yeah.
But whenever we get there. But that
More
was
spoilers, sorry.
sorry, more spoilers and trigger warnings and stuff in this. But no, it was a good episode. I liked it a lot. It not liked it, but I loved this episode a lot, especially a lot of the nods that they did and a lot of more character detail and background that we got on Max was really nice and a little bit of what I wanted finally for this character to finally happen. Um but
So,
go ahead.
out of the whole episode, um, besides the ending of the
Mhm.
episode, what was your favorite scene of this episode?
Oh shit.
The
Come
gunfight.
on. He said the gunfight. Hopper's getaway was another one. Was
Oh,
really
okay, yeah,
good.
yeah.
Like, come on, all the fucking
I
prisoners are
think
like, yay!
I think my favorite scene, and it seems really cheesy and funny, but I like how she stands out. But when Robin gives her speech, I like that a lot. Like I don't know why, it's just so funny how it's supposed to be on the spot, so it's just like she does it so perfectly, and it's just like, damn, you have some balls, girl. Like it was probably one of my favorite scenes in the episode as well. It's almost like she's breaking out of her shell a little bit.
Yeah, like she's not as nervous or not as anxious as much, and she finally did it like on her own without having any fear or regret of the consequence that may come behind it, which was really good.
Mhm.
But yeah, dang, we all had three different things
Yeah.
episode scenes. I was thinking we're
Scenes.
all gonna agree either on one or the other, but damn, we all picked different ones.
I mean, the whole episode is it's great. To me too. Thinking about it more with these Netflix shows, they don't really seem to like give you like mid-season finales anymore. Like every episode just kind of seems like an episode until the season finale. Like this
Yeah,
one actually seemed like they wanted to give you a mid-season finale, even though there was going to be an episode right after it.
yeah,
Even though there's going to be actually two more episodes right after it, I think, or is it three? I'm not even 100%
4,
sure right
5,
now.
3, because it
Well,
was 5,
but
6,
yeah,
and
before
7.
volume two.
Yeah, they gave us 3 episodes after that one. But even then, the only time that I saw like a two times that I saw like a mid season finale was like that kind of like that was like in Breaking Bad, and then in Walking Dead. Those are the only two that I've seen like that actually like series wise that actually put some time and dedication into like a mid season finale.
Mhm.
And I mean, you have to in TV shows like that. What I mean is like in Netflix, like
Oh yeah,
dominated
Netflix.
shows
No, I
where they
haven't
just
seen
put all
those.
the episodes in at one time,
Yeah,
and everyone just streams them all on the same day or same week or whatever you want to say.
yeah,
It just seems like those types of people or those types of shows, they're like, oh well, there's no point in putting a mid-season finale if they're not gonna really
yeah,
have to stop watching the show. But it's like they put some effort into like let's make this like a real TV show and give it a real mid-season finale,
yeah,
and it was really cool. Every part of the show, every part of this episode, I really did enjoy.
yeah,
The escape from Hopper, the gunfight, what happened with Max, them talking to Victor Krill and getting a little bit more into Vecna's, past and things like that. Like a lot of it was just really freaking cool, to get all that fleshed out in one episode and kind of taking all this tension they built so far in the series and kind of giving it a little bit relief and then adding a little more tension back into it.
yeah, absolutely. Like, okay, so a question for you guys. Would you like a series to be released all in one day, like have all the episodes, or would you like it in like weeks? So like they show episode 1, the next week you get like episode 2, the following week episode 3, like how they did it for I think it was the for Disney Plus, how they
Mhm.
do their episodes where they drop them like every week or so. Do you prefer your episodes that way or do you prefer it all in one lump sum?
I feel like it should be a weekly thing, in my opinion.
You feel
Um,
like that?
yeah, because there's a lot of things. Because obviously, people have lives and they're busy and shit, so they can't really watch it, in a day or in a week, whatever. So like, here's these people that they watch it 10 episodes the first day or some shit, and they're posting their
Freaking
thoughts on it on
nerds.
Facebook, and spoilers and all that shit. And there's one person's on Facebook looking at his post like, are you serious? You know I'm busy this whole week, and I came and like watch it. I have no time for this shit.
Yeah.
So that, my opinion, it should be a weekly thing only because two, I haven't really experienced that since like The Walking Dead. I got into Stranger Things like season two, season three ish kind of, and it was already out like to watch like whatever. So it wasn't like a weekly thing. So like with Breaking Bad, I watched it like straight like a week, 2 weeks pretty much. So I didn't have to wait, for a whole week and shit. But that's just my opinion. I'd rather it be a weekly thing.
I would like the weekly thing, but like maybe sped up slightly. And when I say split up slightly, like these are 9 episodes. They could have done 2 episodes a week, and then that last week be the final episode.
Yeah, and then we
Season
get that little
finale.
bit of a
Yep.
little bit of a break for volume 2 or whatever, however they did it and
Yeah, like
everything.
I think just breaking it down into a couple of episodes a week or something, like, because I mean, watching just 2 episodes, like, it's honestly a lot, like, of any show. Even watching, anything, even a 45-minute show, watching 2 episodes, you're like, wow, okay, there's already like an hour and a half, 2 hours have gone by. Like, I'm already watching this one show. Like, it's a lot. Stranger Things was even worse because it was just like, it was an hour and a half for every episode. You're just like, you get through 2 episodes, and you're like, dude, half my life has just gone away today.
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah.
Um, I would have preferred, I wouldn't have been mad. I'm not mad that they do it the way they're doing it because it is kind of cool just to like, if you do get the ants in your pants to like watch the next episode, you can. It's there for you to do it. Um, but I'm not also against, just waiting a little bit to like, ponder what happened, because I feel like you miss things. You worry more like what's gonna happen next, what's gonna happen next, what's gonna happen next. You stop seeing like the how much hard work they put into each episode. You know, you actually have time to rewatch the episode if it came out once a week. You'd
Yeah.
be like, oh, let me go back and watch that episode again. Oh man, I saw this that I didn't see last time. Like that's really cool detail. But when you watch all these, you get to like hour number 5 of watching a series, and you're like, yeah, I have to keep going, but I'm tired.
You're
So you
like,
start
this is too much.
you start
Yeah.
missing things. You just like you're not enjoying it as much.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
Okay.
care either way, but I think it would be nicer to do it the other way,
Yeah. So
releasing a
with
week or something.
my thing, I like it all in one lump sum just because whenever I watched Breaking Bad, I watched it with my dad and we would watch it every Sunday when it would release. And they hit us with that whole like mid-season finale. I was pissed because we had to wait. We waited 6 months, 6 months for that episode to drop. And my dad was like, "Is it almost time?" And I'm like, "Absolutely the fuck not." And the same thing with what Walking Dead, how they would do it before like the with the seasons, like they would do the mid-season and then like the other half would be like later on in the year or drop around the same time that they released the first episode for the season, and it pissed me off the most because it would do, hey, we're gonna rewatch every single episode for the 4th of July weekend or the week of the 4th of July. Like they used to do that all the freaking time. So I hate waiting. I'm impatient already as a person. So I'd like all my stuff one lump sum. But then also too, I hate when they release their episodes because they
Mhm.
release it directly at midnight. So I'm staying up the whole night in order to watch all my episodes. Like when they dropped volume 1, I binge watched. I got out of work, binge watched from the time that I got out of work until maybe about 3 a.m. is when I stopped because I stopped on Dear Billy. I was like, I cannot continue on because I need to go to sleep. And that episode was too intense for me. So I had to like, call it quits and then watch the rest of the following day. But you know what I ended up doing the following day? Watching episode 1 all the way through again because I felt like I didn't get enough of it. So I'm
Mhm.
kind of like here for the all in one lump sum. And then I'm also like, if it's going to be where it's like these type of long episodes, I'd rather have them weekly versus it being all in one lump sum.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of here for the whole one lump
Don't
sum.
get me wrong, I'm like impatient too, but I just like the whole build up. Like, oh, I can't wait till Sunday to watch, this episode because I've been dying to fucking watch. That's all I've been thinking about. I just can't wait till like Sunday or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But
Right. All right, that was my last question for you guys because I wanted to see where y'all's opinion was on it. But this episode was really good. Um, everyone kind of agrees on the same thing. We disagree on episodes, but hey, that's the life of being podcasters and stuff. But alrighty, guys, our next episode will actually be breaking down some things that we found out in the open, like vinyls that Fuentes is showing back there. Um, I found little blind bags as well too.
You got it right.
Hey, man, we gotta try something new on this podcast as well too. So we got a lot of pop culture stuff, drama, some tea going on. So
Rumors
hey,
for the next season.
and we got a whole bunch of stuff, guys. So I guess we'll catch y'all guys in the next one to find out all the drama. Bye. Bye.
Peace.